here today. We wanted to do a finesse topwater video using dragonfly lures and stuff like that, but it's very windy out here, and the dragonflies, you know, you want that calm, hot, sunny day when all the dragonflies are around the water, and it's just not happening. So we're throwing a wacky rig for now, and we're hoping that the water calms down, from the wind, and that we can throw that topwater finesse. But in the meantime, we'll catch some bass on a bait that is probably one of the most dangerous baits in all of bass fishing, the wacky rig. So what I have here is just a big TRD from Z-Man Baits, and it's the green pumpkin goby color, and I'm throwing it on a wacky jig head. It's like a 1/16 ounce, very light wacky jig, just to let it go down a little bit quicker. And because the Z-Man bait floats, the wacky jig head makes it really work good in the water. It has a really strong wiggle, and so that's why I like to fish this one so much. Plus, I don't have to use any rings or anything because of the that elastic material is just so tough. The hook will just stay in there. It makes it very easy and very effective to catch fish. Bigger one here. Come on in here. There we go. He stole my bait. A little bit of a nicer bass on that wacky jig. Nice fish. Throw this wacky rig or wacky jig on a spinning outfit, or you can use what I'm doing here. I think they're more fun to throw on a bait finesse outfit. I've got a bait finesse rod here made by Cashin and a bait finesse Shimano Curado reel, and it's just a pleasure to throw the wacky rig on it. You can throw it where you want it, a little more accurate than it would be with a spinning rod. really fight hard on the finesse gear. That's what's so much fun about using bait finesse. A fish like this, 13 inches, can fight like crazy. Fishing a creek channel that runs along a bank here, and we're getting some better sized fish because of it. This is a nice bass here. Totally cool. A fish just came out, blew up on top out here, and I threw the wacky at him and got him. That was cool. Small fish, but it was still a really neat way of catching it. Threw the wacky out there. He just busted on some bait out there, and then he ended up getting caught on my wacky jig here. That was fun. There we go. Come on in here. He fell for the little whopper plopper. All right. Well, we got the right bait now, maybe. Not a bad bass. Hardly took it. Boy, that was subtle. That was subtle. You got it. I don't know what it is. Bass. That was a subtle bite. Just a little guy. So this may be the simplest, most effective way there is to catch bass in shallow water day in and day out. It's just consisting of this VMC wacky weedless jig head. This is a 1/8 ounce jig head. Normally it comes with a 1-strand wire guard like that to prevent the weeds from getting on there, but I use this one so darn much that the wire guard just broke off over time. Still catches plenty of fish where there's not as much cover. If I'm throwing it around a lot of weeds, then I would use one with this weed guard. But it's very simple. I like to use this Z-Man Big TRD, one of my favorite colors, and I've caught fish just about everywhere I've thrown this color. It's called Green Pumpkin Goby. A very interesting color. It's got this green pumpkin, but then it's got purple and gold flake in there. It's just a natural looking color. And because we're using this Elastec bait, this stuff is super tough. It stretches like that. You know, you don't have to have an O-ring on the bait. In fact, I recommend you don't put one on, because if you use certain type of plastic or rubber O-ring, it'll tend to have a chemical reaction with this Elastec stuff, and then it'll just be a melty, gooey mess. The good news is you don't need it anyway. All you got to do is go to the halfway point of your worm, insert your hook through, tie your line here, and you're ready to go. It's that simple to fish. It's just a very simple method, but boy, does it catch bass. You know, if you throw this around, I guarantee you're going to catch bass if you're fishing shallow water. Great way to introduce kids to bass fishing. If you have youngsters and you'd like them to start catching bass, maybe graduate from the panfish and perch, bluegill, crappie to some bass fishing, this is a real good way to do it. Very effective, no live bait needed. I like to throw it on 10-pound test braid with a 8-pound test leader. I like fluorocarbon leader, but you can use mono as well. And on light equipment. So you want a spinning rod for this, or a very light bait caster, or like a bait finesse bait caster like I was using in the video. The bait caster is a little more expensive, but it does allow you to be a little more accurate in your casting, but a spinning rod will work just fine with this. If you got kids, I recommend you use a spinning rod or even a spin caster for the youngsters. Great presentation, works very well spring through fall. Well, if you liked the video, give me that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, be safe out there. And as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.